The Imperium of Man is interstellar empire, the ultimate authority for the majority of the human species in the Milky Way Galaxy in the 41st Millennium A.D. No other civilization in the galaxy is as big and strong as the Imperium. The founder and ruler of the Imperium is the godlike emperor of mankind, the most powerful human psyker ever born. The emperor founded the Imperium over 10,000 years ago in the late 30th millennium, during the Unification Wars on Earth following the apocalyptic period in history known as the Age of Strife. That's correct, the Imperium is more than 10,000 years old. It's so old that in reality humans have nothing which can be compared to the age of the Imperium. The Great Pyramids or Stonehenge are nothing when it comes to the age of the Empire. It's so ancient. But even this Imperium appeared from somewhere. In today's video on Warhammer 40K lore, we shall talk about the foundation of the Imperium. Many eons ago, the first humans appeared on Earth as primitive barbarians trying to survive harsh climates, which was known as the last Ice Age. After the end of the Ice Age, humans developed agriculture, learned how to build cities, and created writing scripts for their languages. This was the new beginning, when the first human civilizations appeared on Earth, in the Middle East, in Egypt, China, in Greece, and on many other places on the planet. This time period of human history was known as Age of TERRA. During the long years of the Age of TERRA, mankind came to dominate the Earth culturally and technologically. During this time, humans were able to move into space, and as first, they landed on the moon. The solar system was ultimately colonized once mankind developed the necessary technology to leave the Earth's orbit in the late 2nd and the early 3rd millennium AD. Mankind first colonized Mars and lived on the moons of Jupiter, Saturn, and Neptune. Mars became the first planet to be terraformed. The red planet soon became synonymous with technical expertise and scientific advancement, a characteristic that will mark it for many millennia to come. Advanced nuclear fusion and antimatter technology was developed that eventually allowed humanity to construct interstellar starships that could colonize other star systems. Although the slow travel times of these vessels mean these human colonies had to be self-sufficient to survive, as no aid could arrive from Earth in time. At the end of that period, and stretching into the next era in mankind history, the Age of Technology, mankind began to colonize the stars using the warp travel technology. During this age, mankind was able to fast travel into distant worlds, which brought mass colonization of various planets in our galaxy. Some of those planets colonized in this age were probably planets like Cronus, Catran, Pelacan, or Grants. Most of these planets being very important forge worlds, which are controlled by the Adeptus Mechanicus. For many people, especially those who follow Cult Mechanicum rather than Imperial Cult, the Age of Technology is considered the golden age for mankind. But this golden age couldn't last forever. At the end of the age came the most ferocious warp storms that had been seen in all of the mankind's history, cutting off all interstellar travel, trade, and communication. Collapse of the civilization then followed. The new age came, known as Age of Strife, also sometimes remembered as Old Night, was a 5,000 years long period of anarchy, war, and destructive technological regression that brought mankind to the brink of extinction. If the previous age had been one of prosperity and enlightenment, the Age of Strife was its dark mirror. During this era of isolation and hardship, many human colonies underwent drastic and widespread mutations. Some were destroyed by it. Others underwent more natural processes, of adaptation and evolution, transforming into abhumans such as ogres, ratlings, or beastmen. Human civilization in the colonized portion of the galaxy fragmented, and where it survived, it took on widely different forms. On Earth, the planetary economy collapsed, with the loss of interstellar trade and communication, with the rest of mankind even as the social order broke down. Wars, rebellion, or disease then followed. On Earth, brutal warlords emerged from amidst the strife, and disorder who carved out new kingdoms to serve as their fiefdoms. The emergence of these often brutal neo-feudal kingdoms, the new nation-states of the people later termed techno-barbarians by imperial historians, imposed an uneasy peace on the earth that was frequently interrupted by feudal conflicts. Humans seemed on the brink of extinction, but then, in humanity's darkest hour, came the man who will become known as the Emperor of Mankind. Emperor did something what was considered impossible. He wanted to unify all the techno-barbarian states under his rule with either diplomacy or the waging of the brutal military campaigns later called the Unification Wars against the techno-barbarian tribes. These wars were waged with superhuman soldiers later known as the Thunder Warriors, who had been genetically engineered by the Emperor to be faster and stronger than baseline humans. Such warriors would provide the early foundation from which he would later decide to create the Space Marines. After conquering the last of the independent techno-barbarian states on Earth, the Emperor began to lay the foundations of his Imperium. At last, the Age of Strife was over. Hope was restored. There was a new future for mankind. Understanding that no one could rule alone, not even Emperor himself, he formed his war council, made up of his most able generals and a number of high-ranking officials. After conquering the last of the independent barbarian states on Earth, in this time period renamed to TERRA, the Emperor secured the alliance with God Mechanicus of Mars, who controlled the most advanced remaining industrial fabrication and scientific research facilities in the human-settled galaxy. The Emperor promised in the Treaty of Mars to protect the Tech Priest religion and respect the sovereignty of the Mechanicum and the autonomy of the forged wars across the galaxy. The powerful Fabricator General of Mars was given a seat on the War Council of the Great Crusade. With access to the giant manufactoria of Mars, this enabled the Emperor to vastly increase the power of his legions with improved war gear and supply. In addition, the Tech Priests of Mars lent their arms to the construction of the massive warp-capable battleships that could transport his legions across the galaxy. The Treaty of Mars married the Terran military might of the Emperor with the industrial strength of Mars and the Mechanicum. Now, with the needed manpower and material to make his dream a reality, the Emperor mobilized the resources of Terra and Mars to launch a vast military campaign intended to reunite the whole of mankind, dispersed across the galaxy under his rule. This campaign, the Great Crusade, marked the founding era of the period that will later be known as the Age of the Imperium. A vast fleet of starships was built in orbit of Mars, with which the Emperor's armies set out to reconquer the galaxy for mankind. Thank you guys for watching this video. Making this video was not an easy task and takes a lot of time and a lot of effort. So thank you again. Please consider subscribe to my YouTube channel, leave a comment down below and click on like button. Plus follow me on social websites like Twitter or Instagram, where I'm there every day. Thank you again for watching. We will see later in the next video. Have a nice day.